If you grew up without any romantic attention and maybe you've never had a boyfriend, or you just struggle with dating and you just can't find anybody and you think it's too late for you, it's literally not too late for you. If you're over 20 and you think, oh, I'm old now, or if you're over 30 or even over 40 and you think, I'm old now, I'm old, I can't find anybody anymore, nobody's interested in me, no, that's cap.
Liar!
I went out on a date with a man a couple months ago, and I made it very clear at the initiation of the date that there was going to be no fornication.
Bye, have a great time.
No thanks. I don't have any interest in that. I'm almost 40 years old. I don't have any interest in that. If I'm going on a date with you, we're just going to go on a date, and then I'll decide if I like you well enough.
Brother, what's that?
Ladies and misogynists, welcome back to the desert, where me and Ampu are happy to greet you. Now, gentlemen, have you ever felt lost at life? You don't know what to do, you need guidance, you need direction, you need advice. Well, fear no more, because today we'll be listening to some dating advice from women to get your life in order, to get your life fixed. And now I hear you guys, you're asking me, Hidan, how can I trust you? How can I trust my life and the decisions I will take from these women? Well, guys, because they are single, all right? Because they have a lot of experience, apparently, from their high body count. We're not going to listen to some woman who has kept her marriage for 40 years and knows how to manage it. No. We're going to listen to women who have high body counts, and that apparently gives them a lot of wisdom, you know, as they will say. And also, for a Reddit story, we're going to take a look at some spicy Reddit story and see how that goes. I don't know if YouTube will get it banned or taken down, but I'll just play around words and see if we can make this type of content. But now, guys, let's get started with our first woman that is apparently recording this video from Jigsaw's basement, from the first movie, I would say. So let's take a listen.
If you grew up without any romantic attention and maybe you've never had a boyfriend, or you just struggle with dating and you just can't find anybody and you think it's too late for you, it's literally not too late for you. If you're over 20 and you think, oh, I'm old now, or if you're over 30 or even over 40 and you think,
what do you bet that she's gonna mention like this one instance of one woman that she knows that could manage to date over 40? What do you bet that that's gonna be her whole argument?
I'm old now, I'm old, I can't find anybody anymore, nobody's interested in me. No, that's cap. I'm going to tell you a story that happened to my aunt. So my aunt hasn't dated for 30 years. I mean, I think the last time she dated or was seeing somebody, but that wasn't even a relationship. Her last relationship was 30 years ago. Okay. And the last time she dated was 12 years ago. And since then, she had no male contact whatsoever. And every time she kind of put herself out there, nothing physical happened. And it was, I don't know, the men weren't really it. And it didn't work out. Okay. But now she has 2 men on her roster, and both of them she met because something bad happened, or she thought something bad was happening. So the first guy, she had back pain, so she went to a chiropractor. Literally, the chiropractor hit on her. So now they're texting, now they're dating, making out, doing all the stuff. Then her plumbing, something was wrong with her plumbing. The plumber, she was like, the plumber looked like Magic Mike. She offered him a coffee. They started making out. Like, it just happened. Chemistry just happens like that. It's never too late for you. Take it from my aunt and have a roster. When you start dating, have a roster.
Yeah, beautiful advice to all the ladies. This is the best advice you can hear on the internet. Just be a 304. Be like this woman's aunt. Is it aunt or aunt or aunt? I don't know. Anyway, be like her, you know. Just be the equivalent of a public toilet. And she says that this is chemistry happens. It's not chemistry. It's these men's desire to spread her legs. It's not chemistry. It's not as magical as you think. Now, this woman thinks that she made a double view for women, that, oh, look, ladies, you can date over 40. No, yes, you can. We've never said you can't. What we say is you can't manage to have a serious relationship after being single over 40. Because men won't respect you, given your past, and you won't respect them if they respect you for that, right? Women, guys, they don't respect men who take them in, with all these flaws because they recognize that men don't have the necessary self-respect to avoid them, and they don't respect them in return.
I'm going to give you 3 tips for dating after divorce. What to do to get back in the game. All right, tip 1. Hell, I may give you more than 3 today. Who knows?
Oh wow, she's so generous, guys.
Tip 1 that comes to my mind is don't be fearful. That's number 1, okay? Because mindset is everything. And if you're afraid, then that's going to translate to absolutely everything you do. And if you're afraid to get on the dating apps or afraid to go out and meet people, it's going to be just obvious in your vibe and energy. So, number 2.
Vibe and energy, guys. Now look, men don't have a problem. But men don't want women to be fearful. What we want is for you to not be delusional. It's not the same thing. You don't have to be fearful or shy, but these women that go on dating apps and feel entitled to the 10 out of 10 men, to the top 10% of guys, yeah, that's not confidence. That's just straight up delusion, my woman.
Number 2, and this is some good advice I'm going to give you here. Have your story set. Have some go-to answers for when that person is going to ask you questions, because there are natural dating questions that are going to come up. Like, how long have you been divorced? Have you dated much? Do you and the ex get along? What's the custody arrangement? Why did you get divorced? And if you don't want to talk about those things, then have a set answer so that you briefly answer. They don't deserve to know everything. They don't deserve, even if they ask, they don't deserve to know everything until you know if you really, really like them. So if you had a really hard, shitty divorce and you were married to a psycho, you are not going to say that. You're going to say, well, the divorce took a little longer than we'd hoped, but it's done and we've both moved on. Learned a lot during the marriage, grew apart. Those are very easy go-to things. And then you have a thing where you're already ready to change the subject. So tell me about you. What's the best restaurant you've been to lately? You know.
Oh, beautiful advice again. So advice number 2, guys, is lie. Just lie, hide the truth, and then use a straw man to ask them what's their favorite restaurant. If you get asked, hey, I see that you've been dating for the last 20 years. I see no ring on your finger, by the way. What about that? Do I get to presume that you've been a virgin these 20 years, or have you been messing around all the time? Giving it to men for free while you expect me now to do all these things for you. I also see that you have a TikTok account with like 350 stories about your L's and about all the guys that you've been with. What about that? Can you tell me a little about that? My things were hard and then they weren't easy. What's your favorite restaurant, by the way? Beautiful, guys. Just hide the truth, all right?
I mean, just come up with something. So have things at the ready so that you're not caught off guard. All right, hang on. When getting back in the game, you want to make sure that you are picking partners that are appropriate for you.
Sorry guys, before we move on to the next one, I just want to mention something else. It's no coincidence that these women lie about their body counts, or they try to make things up about her ex, or oftentimes they don't mention the reason why they got divorced. All right, it's no coincidence. All of this is because deep down, they know they are wrong. Deep down, they know that this behavior is shameful, and they want to hide it. They wouldn't hide it if there's nothing to be hid, They wouldn't be embarrassed to share it if it's nothing bad, but they know that they are the equivalent of a 304. They know that this is shameful and turns men away. They know that it gives them the ick. They know that it's not something that men desire, that doesn't make for great partners, and this is why they have to lie and hide all this information. It's self-evident. So when you women don't tell us about it, you're just telegraphing the same thing, right?
All right. So just remember, if they're fit, they want somebody fit. Usually if they have kids at home, you'd be a better match. If you have kids at home, if you're an empty nester, you want to find an empty nester. You want to find somebody who looks like they're realistic for you. for your lifestyle. You know, you don't
This is probably the only advice I love, because it's this woman, she's a dating coach, right? Trying to tell her audience of women that they're delusional, but she just finds a nice way to sugarcoat it, right? She doesn't say, if you're a single mother, why in the hell will any single man want to take care of another man's child? No, she says, you know, if you have children, you'd have to go for someone who also has children to mirror your lifestyle. You know, she doesn't say, if you're a land whale, no man who goes to the gym will want to touch you. She says, if you don't go to the gym, you might be interested in finding someone who also doesn't go to the gym. So, you know, you can meet him in your lifestyle and be more comfortable with it. It's just a nice way of saying, look, I'm a dating coach, but women, you're taking it too far. I see that your demands are absolutely unreasonable. So try to go for the partner that actually reflects who you are, right? She has a beautiful way of putting it.
don't want to pick anybody that like is super inappropriately young or looks like they have a party lifestyle if that is not your lifestyle. So be realistic. Oh, I'm going to give you another one. What the hell? All right. Make sure that you treat dating not like a chore, like it's fun, because you get the opportunity to now meet new people. So now your possibilities are endless. So your glass is not half empty, your glass is half full. So when you go out on dates, do not be the sad sack that's down in the dumps. Who wants to date that person? No one, okay? You will always want to, even if you have to plan it ahead of time, some things that you want to talk about that you find interesting, that you find fun, because you've got to go on dates and be upbeat, happy, and looking forward to the future. Oh, I just thought about one other one. Hang on, I got one more for you. Last but not least, don't talk about your past. Do not get tricked into being pulled into a rabbit hole of talking about your past, talking about your ex, talking about your past life in the good old days.
All right, I'm going to pause it right there. Why use the word tricked? Now, if someone asks you, what were you doing yesterday? Would you feel tricked? No, you wouldn't, because you have nothing to hide, right? If you go to apply to a job and they ask you about your criminal record, the only way you can feel tricked about it is if you have some criminal record to hide. Because otherwise you just say, well, I have no criminal record. I have nothing to be afraid of or ashamed of. If you feel tricked into talking about your past and you have to try to sugarcoat it, or you have to make up things, or you want to hide it, it's because you know that you've messed up big time. All right?
No, somebody dating you wants to talk about what the two of you might be able to do together in the future. So people want to date people who are optimistic and happy about the future, not stuck on the past. Okay? Okay. I hope it helps.
Yeah, not stuck in the past. Just... I love these women trying to cope with the fact that their pasts are train wrecks. Imagine a recruiter, and this guy applies for a job at, being a store manager. And she says, well, I see that in your criminal record, you've robbed 16 stores. And in your previous 2 positions of being a store manager, you've actually been kicked because you stole from the shop. All right. I don't feel necessarily great about that. And then the guy says, come on now, don't live in the past. Yeah, don't live in the past. The glass is half full. Think about the future. The important thing is that I'm here now, right? This is what a lot of guys says. The important thing is that she's with me now. I don't care if she's eaten 460 bananas just in the last year. The important thing is she's with me now. She loves me. Again, this is just pathetic. This is the equivalent of, again, that recruiter saying, yeah, you know what? You've actually been dismissed from other 7 jobs because you were terrible and you stole from the shop. But I'm gonna view the glass as half full, and I'm gonna take you in without any further, questions asked. Just, yeah, come around here. What's the worst that can happen, right? The same with these women. Well, you've been single for the last 15 years. You haven't been able to manage to keep a relationship, and you come with 2 divorces in hand. But what's the worst thing that can happen with this relationship? What's the worst thing? I mean, you've been with 410 guys, but I'm going to be number 411. That is the magical one, that's the key number, guys. You're going to be the one that makes it. Yeah, sure. No, she won't be yours. It will be just your turn.
A man a couple months ago, and I like made it very clear at the initiation of the date that there was going to be no fornication. Like, no thanks. I don't have any interest in that. I'm almost 40 years old. I don't have any interest in that. Like, if I'm going on a date with you, we're just going to go on a date, and then I'll decide if I like you well enough. Anyway, and he was just in town visiting anyway, so I just wanted to see if he was interesting or was going to give me any money. He didn't, so he wasn't interesting. And, you know, we're kind of hanging out and talking, whatever. He's trying to get me to be in the mood to fornicate. Yeah, no, not going to happen. He keeps trying and trying and trying, and I keep being like, no. The answer was no. And I was like, and honestly, I wanted you to get to know me as a person. I didn't want you to see me as, you know, like an object, as just a sex object. And he's like, I don't see you as just a sex object. And I was like, well, why don't you just like get to know me, and then we can decide if we're ever going to do that. And then he texted me the next day and he's like, see, it's a second date, so I did want to get to know you. And I was like, I wanted to get to know my pants. Anyway, again, no money. Not my problem.
Well, what can I say? I'll never shy away from honesty. I value it, but damn, this woman's honesty, guys, is just brutal. She just says, I mean it for the money. At some point, she starts rambling about, I want you to not view me as an object. I want you to view me, you know, for my personality. But you just say that you're there for the money. Who cares about personality? Now you get all romantic about it. Oh, I want a Romeo to value me. No, you just want money, right? You see, you're objectifying this guy. Now, interestingly enough, you say that you don't want to be objectified, but you're objectifying him. I mean, you view him as a walking ATM machine. So what's the problem with him objectifying you? I mean, at this point, you want money and you want to objectify the guy. Just become a 3 or 4. So you can both objectify each other, right? What's the big deal? But anyways, guys, this woman, I cannot think of a way to get across a point on the internet that you are just undateable. Alright? I don't think you can do a better job at it. Like, any man who views this TikTok of a woman just straight up saying how she's in it for the money and she won't give you anything in return is just... Guys, they cannot be more clear about it, alright? These women don't want you to date them. And personally, I'm fine with that. I'm not interested in dating these harpies. Now, guys, let's move on to our Reddit story. Again, we'll see how that goes, because it's a little spicy. If you're not watching to the screen, I'll just have to play around a few words. But the subject says, he won't text me back after an awkward manual service, let's say. I guess you just really have to read the title. But you'll get the idea across if you are not watching. I, 28 female, have been on couple dates with this guy, 27 male, whom I met on a dating app. First date went great, we had a lot in common and the conversation was free-flowing. There was physical contact too, and he kissed me before dropping me at my door. It was a good kiss. He texted me right away with a little joke about making sure I got home safe, and we texted back and forth for the next couple of weeks. He asked me out again for drinks and I agreed. The second date went really well too. He asked if I wanted to come back to his place to smoke up, euphemism for bedroom fun. I said not tonight, but definitely soon, once we know each other better. So she's trying to act all traditional about it, right? I'm not the type of woman that sleeps around on the second date. He didn't mind at all, and the conversation continued as normal. We talked about what we wanted from each other, and both of us were in agreement that it wasn't going to be a casual hookup, or that we were only looking for S3X. Yeah, sure, it's not going to be a casual hookup. The chemistry, there's that word again, chemistry, was through the roof. Interesting, guys. I thought that this woman was infatuated with this guy because of his nice personality, but it turns out that he is a Chad, right? Now, you won't be shocked about this, and we will have proof of that down below. We downed multiple drinks and were making out at the bar in front of everyone, all over each other basically. Our conversation got S3-actual, and we talked about all the crap we will do to each other as soon as we got the chance. So again, really traditional relationship there. On the cab ride home is where I messed up. We made out, he pleased me, and I unzipped his pants to return the favor. Except it was dark, I was very drunk and couldn't find his masculinity, let's say. I mean, you get what I'm trying to say. I fumbled for a minute and he kept trying to guide me, but unfortunately an internal panic attack hit me. Intrusive thoughts such as take a look at this. Intrusive thoughts such as "you're 28, still single, groping strangers in a cab" overwhelmed me, and I got upset abruptly and pulled my hand away and withdrew. This, guys, is the last functioning brain cells of this woman trying to tell her, please stop doing this crap. Okay, these are the last cells telling her, I can already see the 7 cats, I'm tired of boxed wine, please, for the love of the Lord, don't do this fatherless behavior anymore. And of course, she refers to it as intrusive thoughts. Guys, is your conscious intrusive thoughts? I don't think so. This is the morality that she has been taught. This is what her father and her family have been telling her. Don't be a 304, be a self-respecting woman. This is the remainings of that, right? But she just tries to sweep it all away. I didn't tell him what I was thinking, of course, but my withdrawal must have been obvious. Also, the cab driver absolutely knew what was going on, right? Like, you think that, oh, it's dark, he wouldn't notice. No, he probably noticed what was going on. It was just awkward to tell you. But what are you doing, man? What is this behavior of doing these things in a cab, right? The cab reached my place. I mumbled goodbye, gave him a quick hug, and bolted. I was so drunk, I passed out as soon as I hit the bed. Again, just really mature behavior, you know, really traditional woman we're talking about, right, guys? When I woke up the next morning, there was no text from him, a contrast from the first date. I texted a long apology for my behavior in the cab, adding that I had a really great time last night and wanted to see him soon. Now, this is why I say that this guy is a Chad. And of course, I knew that he was a Chad the moment that she talked about the chemistry, because the chemistry solely exists with Chads. But here's further proof if you don't believe me. When I see a woman that is that infatuated with a guy and she's so excited about him, it just telegraphs with 100% certainty that he is a Chad. Why? Because these women are getting so much attention, guys. Like, for some men, it really is inconceivable the amount of attention that these women get by existing. Because we men, most of us anyway, have never experienced the sort of attention, constant reassurance, validation, and compliments that these women get just in one day. All right, we've never experienced that. We don't know how to think about it. We cannot imagine, fit in our brains, the amount that really is going on, right? So this is why. I mean, think you are this woman and you receive on a daily basis guys following you around, chasing you around, texting you at all times, being interested in you, buying you drinks, wanting relationships out of you, willing to slay a goat to lay in bed with you, right? You have this on a daily basis. So women like this, it's white noise for them at this point, right? They just couldn't care less. It's an everyday occurrence for them. It's nothing special. So when I see a woman, going back to the point, that is so excited about a guy, it's because he breaks from the norm. He's not the usual guy giving her compliments. No, this is a man who is way out of her league. He is unreachable in her eyes, and she cannot believe that he paid her some attention. All right, this is what I get every time I read about the chemistry. But well, I had a really great time last night and wanted to see him soon. I even joked about how I give better services when not drunk out of my mind. He replied 24 hours later saying, "That's okay, hope you weren't hungover." I apologized again, then asked if we're good. 3 days later, and he still hasn't replied. I'm confused. If he was only in it for S3X, yeah, he absolutely was. Like, this woman mentions that in the beginning they had a conversation where he said, you know, they both agreed supposedly that they're not in it only for S3X. The guy was absolutely in it only for that. These chads are telling the same old lie over and over. They just hinted the idea that they might be interested. If they really were interested, they would ask you out, all right? They just hinted the idea that this may be something serious, and these women always fall for it, guys. It's unbelievable. If he was only in it for the bedroom fun, he would have been in touch, because I'd already promised him that we'd get down and about it very soon. So why the cold shoulder? Because he has better options. You messed up, he doesn't care, he has better options. Where did I go so drastically wrong that he won't even reply to me? And how should I rectify it? I really like this person. No, you don't say. Opinions, please. No, of course you like this person. This is the chat that is way out of your league, and you see this woman, guys, right? She messed up, and now she's thinking about it. I mean, 4 days have already passed since this occurred. She's still thinking about it. She's going to the internet, asking people out, please, I need to rectify this. I made such a big mistake. She realizes that she missed on a guy who is way above her league, right? And these women, guys, this is why I tell you, you should not chase these women. There are probably like 30 men chasing this woman right now, and while they are there willing to gift her flowers and buy her roses and take her to the park and bring the stars from the heaven above for her, meanwhile she's just giving manual labor to some guys, she is some stranger in a car, all right, to the chatter down the street. It's just pathetic, guys. And she asked, where did I go so drastically wrong? Probably 10 years back, when you started being a 304, is when everything went drastically wrong. You know, guys, look, I have no problem with this whole thing, and we're gonna end it on this thought. I have no problem with this whole behavior, right? I mean, for me, this is the equivalent of a street worker. I don't see her as anything different, slightly different terms, but that's what she is. And look, I'm of the belief that everyone can trash their lives in whatever way they find necessary, right? So my problem comes when these women, guys, she's 28, just give her a couple more years where she won't have the looks to attract these chads, where there will be prettier women out there that these chads are chasing after, and watch her go on TikTok and say how, oh, men are terrible, you know, where did I go wrong? These men just, I'm so beautiful, why won't they like me? Because she's used to the attention, and she thinks that it's gonna last for her whole life. She thinks that she can have her cake and eat it too. She can eat Chad's banana and then have her wedding ring, right? And that's what we men have a problem with. You want to be a 304, be a 304. A lot of men are happy with that. They can use it for recreational purposes, but just be honest to yourself. I am an object. I don't value my time. My body is nothing more than a somewhat enhanced version of an S3X doll. I'm here to please the chads and get my pleasing from them in the form of validation and attention. And when this whole carousel is over, I'll just stick to cat litter and boxed wine. Be honest about yourself and nobody will have a problem, right? And guys, I'll end on this thought. I'll end on a little story. But there was this girl, we were friends in university. I recently caught up to her. And she went out of the university. While she was there, she was not messing around. She was not entertaining other guys. She went out of university. In less than a year, she got married. And in 1 year, she had a baby. And now she's living in Western Europe with a baby at the age of 24, 25, something like this. And her marriage seems to be going really well. It's that easy, right? Why am I mentioning this? Because these women, like the one we read in the article, are the ones who say that dating is impossible. Where are all the good men? Just what's happening? It's so hard, guys. It's so hard to date. Meanwhile, you have women who actually try to date and actually try to find a partner, and they manage to do it in 1 year. All right? They just get out of university, they find a nice man who really values them, they are worth keeping, and they have a baby, and now they're a healthy family. You know, just like in the past times. So it's really not hard. It's just about choosing and setting your priorities. Women who are serious about it, that's how easy it is, right? Nobody is telling these women that in order to get married, you have to be a devout Catholic and you have to be extremely, you know, extremely selfless and follow all these religious rituals. No. I mean, yes, religious people have a specific set of values, but you don't need to be religious. Just stick to your principles. Stick to the morals that your father and mother have taught you. You know, stick to your boundaries. It has nothing to do with religion, guys. Every woman can be traditional regardless of religion. It's just follow your principles. But these women don't do that, guys. We have these women at age 30 giving manual labor to some stranger in a cab while being absolutely intoxicated that they pass out on the bed the moment they reach it. All right. And then they ask, why am I single? I don't know. Maybe because every day of your life, you're literally going in the opposite direction of being a good wife and being a stable option for dating. Maybe that's why, right? It's not that hard. Women, guys, they really have no excuse. It's really easy to tell the ones worth keeping from the ones not worth keeping. I mean, you have to be grateful about that. At least the red flags are in the thousands. And it's really easy to dismiss the women who are bad based solely on their past. Just take a look at their past. Have they been giving manual labor to strangers? Yes, she's not wife material. It's just your turn. You know, have your fun, dismiss her, throw her away like a used napkin, and that's it. Because this is what these women are fighting for. All right, you either take the direction of I want a family, I want kids, I want to be a woman with self-respect, I want to be a woman that a man actually values me and loves me for who I am and not just for my body. And it's not hard. It's just go in that direction. Don't entertain these men that only want you for fun. Secure the commitment up front. It all boils down to that. Secure the commitment up front with a guy who's not a red flag. That's it. Meanwhile, these other women, guys, they just feel like they're immortal. They feel like they have all the time in the world. They can do whatever they want. They can have their fun, and then some guy will view them as something more. You know, they're a special snowflake, guys. These equivalents of street workers. We should take them in as if they are something special. You're nothing special. You're an object. That is what you're marketing yourself for. And I tell you what, guys, you better be single for the rest of your life than to have to deal with a woman like this for more than a day. Just have your fun with them and dismiss them, is my advice. Or better even, don't even talk to them. Like, don't even entertain them. The S3X is not worth it with these 304s. But guys, thank you for watching. As always, we'll end on that misogynistic take. You know, just criticizing women is so outdated, guys. I don't know what I'm doing here. But well, professional misogynist. Leave a like and subscribe if you like the content, and I'll be happy to see you next time. Have a good one.